Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we are going to discuss about another very important topic of Angular, that is how to use ngFor directive with trackBy function. But before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for time being we are just mainly focusing on how to use Angular directive ngFor with trackBy function or keyword. Okay, fine. Now the question comes, how we are going to proceed with this session. So we are going to proceed in the similar way. Firstly, I'll explain you the requirement. Once requirement is clear, then we will try to build the solution using the same concept of ngFor. Okay, so let's get started. So firstly, we will go to app.component.ts file. Here in this file, what we will do, we will simply create one array of object. Okay, so let's create the array of object with name users. So here I will create this, and inside this we will use object, where we will write id. Let's say id is 1. Then we have name, let's say Rahul. Okay, and then simply we will add the next object, where we will write id to name Shivam. Okay, so this is the data that we have prepared here. Now the requirement is that we want to show this users data, maybe the name, okay, in a list format or maybe in a normal format, but we want to make sure that whenever we update this list, it should be impacted in the list only. Let me explain in a very simple term. We have this user list. Okay, now let's print one by one these values. So let's go step by step. And apart from this user thing, we need one more thing to be imported here, which is common module, because if common module is not there, we won't be able to use ngFor directive. Okay, so always make sure that common module is imported here. Okay, now this thing is added. Now once you add this thing here, it will automatically add this line as well. If it is not there, add it manually, otherwise it won't work. Now you can simply go to app.component.html file. Here we will define one div. Okay, in this div we will simply print the values of this users. Okay, so for that let me write here star ngFor, and star is needed, star ngFor. Then after this we will write here let user of users. Okay, let user of users, and after that we will simply print the required value, and we want to print the user dot name. Perfect. Now you can run this application. So here I will write ngserve ---- open. So now you will see that as per the requirement, we are getting the required name on the screen. So one by one it prints all the name like Rahul and Shivam. Okay, but the thing is here, like we want to update this data as well. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to create one button which will help us to update the data. But before that, let's add heading here so that you can refer it later to understand what we are learning here. So here we will mention star ngFor directive with trackBy. Okay, with trackBy. So this thing we have added. Now as we discussed that we want to create one button here, so let's add the button. In this button I want to bind one click function where I want to update the data. So I will write here update data. Perfect. Now let's define this function. So let's go to app.component.ts file. Here we will write update data function. Okay, and here in this function we will write the logic this dot users equal. Okay, and let's add the same thing again. because I want to show you like how it is tracking the things. Okay, so I think we made a mistake here, because while updating we should write it in a similar way. This dot users equal, then we need one square bracket. Let's cut it from here and let's put it after this. Okay, let me remove it. Mismatch is there. Okay, so let's add this square curly braces. Inside this we will write this dot users equal square bracket, then we will paste this value, and after this we will add one more new record. ID would be 3, name would be Sharmit. Okay, fine. Now you can save it. So what will happen, like whenever user click on that update button, let's go to the button. Yeah, so here I will add update button. Click to update. Let's write it, click to update. Perfect. Now save it and let's go to the browser. So once user click on this click to update, what will happen now? It will update the entire data again. Let me click here. So you can see it is added. The third name is added. That is fine. But in the behind, like what is happening on the backend, it reload or re-render this data again, Rahul, Shivam, and then Sharmit, which is not good, right? Because these data were already there. If you check the previous data, you will find that we have already defined this Rahul and Shivam, right? So in such cases, when it is re-rendering the data, it reduces the performance. Why? Because for now we have only 2-3 names. That is fine. It will re-render and it will not affect much on performance. But when you are dealing with large number of data where list is very long, so in that case, if it again and again re-rendering the data, it will cause issue. And to fix that issue, what we prefer to go with a trackBy. And what will trackBy will do? TrackBy will track the ID, track the data with ID, and it will re-render only that data which is newly added, not the older data. Okay, so let's see how we will implement this. So for you can go app.component.html file. Here in this file we will add one more thing here, trackBy, and here we will add trackBy user ID. Okay, or maybe you can write like this, trackBy user ID. Okay, now we need to define this thing because it is not defined. So let's copy it from here so that there is no mismatch of type. Let's go here and define it. So we will write here trackBy user ID. Here it will take index colon number colon comma, then user colon any. Okay, then we will put here one semicolon colon, and then type of this trackBy user ID, then curly braces. Inside this curly braces we will write return user dot ID. Perfect. Now you can save it. So what will happen now, you will see like there is no difference on the output for sure, because it is going to update the list and it will show all 3 names again. But on the back of the logic, what is happening, when we click on this update button, it is updating the data, but it is not re-rendering this data again and again. This time it is identifying or tracking the data with ID, and on the basis of ID it only renders that data which is added newly. Okay, that means it will not re-render the data again and again. And if it is not re-rendering the data again and again, that means this time it will not affect performance even if there is a large data set. Okay, so that is the only reason we prefer to go with this trackBy function, you can say, or keyword you can say, whenever you are defining the data, whenever you are populating the data with ngFor directive. Okay, so I hope this session is clear to all of you. If you have any queries or question, you can ask in the comment section. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.